Hello everyone, welcome back to sqadia.com. In our previous video, we talked about the bony surface markings of the thorax. Now we're going to be talking about the soft tissue surface markings. So number one, we have the mid-sternal line. So I'm going to draw all of the lines one by one. First we have the mid-sternal line. It crosses through in the middle right here. This is also known as the anterior median line. It is an imaginary line drawn at the center of the anterior chest right through the midpoint of the sternum. It goes from the jugular notch down all the way to the midpoint of the xiphisternum. So in the body, you would see it here. This is the xiphisternum, and this is the jugular notch. Okay, so what's the significance of the mid-sternal line? It is also the intersection of the median plane with the anterior thoracic wall. Next, we have the mid-clavicular line. So you can see over here we have the clavicle right in between here. So if you see the clavicle here, so we have something over here called the mid-clavicular line. And we draw that over here as well, the mid-clavicular line, on both sides. So the mid-clavicular line is a vertical plane that is parallel to the mid-sternal line. It passes through the middle of the clavicle to the tip of the ninth costal cartilage. As you can see here, this is the tip of the ninth costal cartilage. So that means our line is a little bit incorrect. Let's correct it. There we go. So what is the significance of the mid-clavicular line? It is used in the description of anatomical structures in proximity to this line. Okay, the next one is the three axillary lines. There's an anterior axillary line, a posterior axillary line, and a mid-axillary line. So first let's start with the mid-axillary line. The mid-axillary line, you can see this entire area here, and we usually call this the armpit. But anatomically speaking, we're going to refer to this as the axilla. So when we see the mid part of the axilla going down the side of the body, that is the mid-axillary line. And where the folds of the axilla begin, so that line traveling down is the anterior axillary line. And where the posterior fold of the axilla begins, right over here, the line that continues down from here, well, you won't be able to see the entire thing on this side. It will continue on the back. So that over there is going to be the posterior axillary line. You'll see up to here in the front, and then it'll move to the back. So this is the anterior axillary line, and this is the mid-axillary line, and this is the posterior axillary line. Same thing on this side. Anterior, mid, and posterior. Okay? That's it for the axillary lines. Okay, the posterior median line. The posterior median line is also known as the mid-vertebral line. So as you can see here, this is the mid-vertebral line passing through the spines of the vertebral column. So the posterior median line is a vertical line running through the center of the back, or the posterior part of the thoracic wall. It runs along the tips of the spinous processes of the vertebrae. It has the same significance. It is used in description of anatomical structures in proximity to this line, or in relation to this line. Here's a view where you would be able to see it on the surface of the body. So here is your posterior median line. Okay, so now that we've done the posterior median line, there are two other lines on the back that are very important and very significant with respect to description of anatomical structures. And these are called the scapular lines. So these scapular lines run parallel to the posterior median line, and they run right through the angle of the scapula, the inferior angle of the scapula. As you can see, this is the inferior angle of the scapula. This is the scapula here. Okay? Okay, so number 5, intercostal spaces. So in our previous video, when we were talking about the bony surface markings, we discussed about the costal cartilages and the bony part of the ribs. Right now, we're going to be talking about the space in between. So we're talking about these spaces here. So the space in between the ribs, this is the intercostal spaces. And the number of the intercostal space is identified by the number of the superior rib. So since we know that this is the sternal angle, and we know that this is rib number 2, so we know that this over here is intercostal space number 2. This is intercostal space number 3. This is 4. This is 5. This is 6, 7, 8, and 9. So, as I told you, the counting starts from ICS number 2 at the sternal angle. So the significance of the intercostal spaces, we use the intercostal spaces primarily for heart sounds. The aortic valve is found in the second ICS, in the second intercostal space, on the right lateral margin of the sternum. So right here, this is the aortic valve. Okay? And in the second intercostal space on the left lateral margin of the sternum, we have the area for the pulmonary valve. So right over here, we can hear the pulmonary valve. And then the mitral valve can be heard in the fifth intercostal space in the midclavicular line. So remember, we talked about the midclavicular line. It would be going through right over here is the mitral valve. So just as a review, we already talked about the area for the tricuspid valve. And the tricuspid valve, as I told you before, that although in this bony model you can see that there is an intercostal space between the fifth and sixth rib, many times there isn't really a big space over here. So they're merged. So we would hear the sound of the tricuspid valve right over here. And we can also use these intercostal spaces to identify other things, to mark surface markings. Let's say, for example, if somebody has a stab wound, we would say that this is a stab wound in, let's count, what number is that? 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the fifth intercostal space. We have a stab wound in the fifth intercostal space in the mid-clavicular line. So here you can see the body. Now, how would we identify the heart sounds now that you don't see the ribs? So you're going to find first the suprasternal notch. Here's your manubrium. Okay. Now you know that you can feel the sternal angle right here. Now that you know where the sternal angle is, now you find the second rib. So you found the second rib. Now you go to all of these spaces. So this is space number 2, and we have space number 3, 4, 5, and this is where we can hear the sound of the aortic valve. So we palpate on the same side on the left, and now we can hear the pulmonary valve. And if we go further down, over here, in the fifth and sixth intercostal spaces, we can hear the tricuspid valve. Okay, and right here, we can see the midclavicular line. And just medial to the midclavicular line in the fifth intercostal space, this is where we have the mitral valve. And let's say our patient, he has a stab wound. Our patient has a stab wound right over here. What we need to see now is, where is it located? So here's rib number 6, rib number 7. So we would see that this is in the sixth intercostal space. Okay, so now that we've done the heart sounds, it's also relevant that we start talking about the apex beat as well. So the apex beat is where the maximum impulse can be seen and it can be felt. So the palpations are visible when the person is lying down on his back, and the pulsations are also palpable. It lies in the left fifth intercostal space, medial to the midclavicular line. So this is our left side. And here is the midclavicular line passing through the tip of the ninth rib. Tip of the ninth rib. And here is the midclavicular line. The apex beat is slightly medial in the fifth intercostal space. This helps us diagnose cardiac diseases. Another point is to remember that it would be 9 centimeters from the mid-sternal line. Okay? So now that we've talked about the apex beat, well, it's also relevant to talk about the nipple. So the nipple is used, the nipple is also used as a landmark, and it is located, for males, it is usually located in the fourth intercostal space, lateral to the midclavicular line. So here is our mid-sternal line, and this is the fourth intercostal space. This is the fifth intercostal space, and this is the fourth intercostal space. Just lateral. Okay, and the distance of the nipple is 10 centimeters. Okay? So in males, it's usually located, as I already said, in the fourth intercostal space. For females, the position varies considerably, as it is located on the tip of the female breast. The most prominent surface feature of the anterior thoracic wall is the nipple, and the most important significance is that it helps in locating the apex beat in males. So when you first examine a patient, it's very easy to see the nipple, and then from there you can navigate one intercostal space further down, and slightly to the medial side, you'll find the position of the apex beat, and you'll also find the mitral valve in the midclavicular line. Okay, so the last soft tissue marking that we have is the trachea. And as you can see here we have our sternum. So the first thing to identify, the first thing that we need to see is the suprasternal notch, so right over here. And from here, we understand that just posterior to this is the trachea. You can palpate it. It's very easy to feel. So the trachea is the cartilaginous tube that connects the larynx to the bronchi. It is located in the midline, just posterior to the suprasternal notch. And the significance is that it is used in the positioning of the tracheostomy tube. So let's say this person needs a tracheostomy. You can feel the trachea right there, and then create a hole for the tracheostomy tube. And that's it for soft tissue markings. Just as a summary, today we learned about the surface anatomy of the thorax, and we learned about 9 bony landmarks and 9 soft tissue landmarks. And we also learned about the significance of each of them, how we would relate it to a patient that we are examining, that is lying down in front of us. If we were to examine them, if they present with a gunshot wound, a stab wound, or any other type of, we're just trying to diagnose their heart problem. So we listen to their heart sounds. To navigate through all of these things, we need these surface landmarks. All right, that's it. That's it for today. See you next time on sqadia.com.